I want to thank the Talbot Council for allowing us to speak to you today. And it can't be a huge surprise that Kent County has been in the throes of looking at having 50 500-foot wind turbines possibly erected on 5,000 acres in the middle of our county. The citizens of Kent County are opposed to this happening. But one of the troubling things for us is that this is not under local control. This company came in and made the project be over 70 megawatts. So it will be heard by the PSC in Annapolis. And if they decide that that this can come in, it won't matter what local citizens say, nor will it matter what the Kent County Commissioners or what our zoning laws say. It will be a project that is approved at the state level. We are here today to ask you to support the Kent County Commissioners in their opposition to this project. In March of this year, they voted unanimously to support Senator Hershey's bill before the Annapolis legislatures. It was Senate Bill 938, which did not get out of committee, probably because it was put in fairly late. They also voted in opposition to the project. So we would like to have...
Who voted in opposition to the project?
The commissioners.
Yeah, okay.
Unanimously in opposition to the project.
Okay, I thought you had sent someone else. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. We are here today to ask you for your support to stand behind the Kent County Commissioners in their opposition to this project, and that is going to be going forward. Because if this were to happen in Kent County, it's a good possibility that it could come to your county, and whether you wanted the project in your county or not, it could, in fact, be decided by the state, the PSC, that this would go forward. So we did get a letter of support from the Queen Anne's County Commissioners, and I have included that in your packet. And I think what we're asking as the citizens from Kent County today is that you join the Queen Anne's Commissioners in supporting the Kent County Commissioners in their opposition. And I'll let Commissioner Short speak to the rest of this.
Thank you, Council. Good to be here. Part of this is the fact that this process would eliminate your job and my job as a council, as a board, and to be overridden by a company that just because they're building a certain size project which is a 70 megawatt, it eliminates us as not only local officials, but the people. It takes the voice away from the people who put us in this position. So if in the process legislation goes forward in order to try and give that kind of control to us, we are not against wind energy. We have in our county we allow up to 120 foot as far as turbines go. That's our zoning, and we also are not anti-solar. We are, according to the state, we're the greenest, and we've been recognized as the greenest. So that is not our goal, is to stamp this completely out. The goal is to give us decision-making, let us be part of the process. But 500 foot, I don't care. That's the Washington Monument. That's the Bay Bridge pillars in the center of the bridge. That's what you'd be looking at from here, basically to the shore of Chestertown. And it's a bit much for our area. We're very willing to work with again solar project, which we've already done. And the thing is, I think we've all gotten caught a little off guard because of the rate of movement of a project of this size. So with something of this scale, again, anywhere from 25 to 50, which was the original conversation, 500-foot tall wind turbines in about 8 square miles. And for those of you who are familiar with Kent County, that is from the Kenny DeVille area to the Galena area, everything in the middle. And what's really ironic is, we have situations where we can't get signage for like an Easter seal, special needs Easter seals camp on the side of scenic byways, but yet they're going to allow in between 2 scenic byways, potentially, without us having any say, 500-foot turbines. So it really doesn't make a lot of sense. And so the goal is just to have support and to know that you're with us as far as the shore, and however we move this along. You'll be the first to know through the transition how we move this along in the future of all our governing bodies. So I think that's pretty much all I got to say.
As you say, we're all elected to serve the constituents in our respective counties, and to think that you could have this kind of thing come along without any local input is scary. And I think we as elected county council people need to understand that this affects us, even though it's not technically in our county. And I know we may even hear from Jay Falstead today, who is a Queen Anne's County citizen, and they're going to see these turbines as well from Queen Anne's County. I happened to be up in Nova Scotia over the summer, and I went to the local landfill, and I came upon one of these 500-foot turbines, and it happened to be right next to the road, so I had a chance to get right next to it, look straight up, and these things are gargantuan. And to think that there would be 50 of them in Kent County is astounding. I can't even wrap my brain around that. So again, it's one of local control versus, federal or state control. And so we definitely, I hope this council will consider writing a letter of support for Kent County. And I know Queen Anne's County has already sent a letter. So we certainly appreciate your coming today and taking time to alert us to this. We have things like the joint land use study that we're a member of that relates to Pax River, which may protect Talbot County in some ways from these towers because of the flight patterns around Pax River. I guess somewhat we are protected, but we could also get, an underground oil pipeline or a gas pipeline where we don't want it, or all sorts of things that the state might send our way that we wouldn't want. So anyway, we'll see what the county wants to do in this, and but we appreciate your coming out and making us aware of it. Thank you for taking
And just remember, for me, I studied this for over a year prior to taking this stance, and it came down dominantly on personal property rights. And when you start interviewing the people that are surrounding this area, their property rights matter just as much as the next guy. So, we had a small percentage of applicants, right around 7 property owners, compared to the populace of that whole area. That's lives could be affected, whether it's the hunting industry, where this farm may make, thousands of dollars off the hunting industry, but that may be killed once you get all these turbines. So a lot of thought went into this, and that's kind of the process that I hope your board considers in their support. Is it's about the whole populace of the county, and the majority, in my eyes, ruled on this decision and how I took that into effect.
So you have somebody working with you to kind of mitigate with APACS and with the Public Service Commission? Is there anyone that have you hired anyone outside council?
We have not. We're using our delegation, or we're using the support of what we have at hand at this point, which we have great support, unanimous support from our 36 delegation, from the senator. All 3 delegates are against this in our county and Queen Anne's County and the counties they represent. So they, again, majority rule. The support of the people is how they looked at it. Also, we all took it in task to say what is best. We've done everything to protect our lands in Kent County. Again, we are the heaviest preservation area also, and this area that they want to do this is one of our heaviest preserved areas as far as land preservation, malfeasements, on and on and on. This is the area. The historic value of, say, Shrewsbury Church and the historic homes in that area that could be affected again by this change of, in Wyoming, where I go hunting, they're beautiful. They're, but you have your closest neighbors 40 miles away. It's not somebody sitting on the back door of in a small area. Kent County is only 12 miles wide. And if you take the whole center of that, in that area, and do this, it affects Cecil County, it affects Queen Anne's County. 500 foot, I took an airplane up, and from 500 feet, I could see in the Annapolis legislators' buildings, I could see Baltimore City, I could see the New Jersey nuclear plant from 500 feet, and we just stabilized there. And then we dropped down to 200 feet, which is what we allow for these wind meters, and I could still see all that stuff. So it's huge, and it really needs to be your decision.
So right now, Kent County is 120?
120 is what we allow.
And what scale is that reference to? Help me out with the Chesapeake College one.
Chesapeake College is 140.
150.
Yeah, 149.
150, okay.
Yeah. So 3 times.
3 times as high as that.
Yes, okay.
And 304 feet wide as far as from propeller to propeller.
It's a
And
Boeing
if
747.
And this power will be going right into the grid?
New Jersey.
How would Kent County benefit from this power?
Other than perhaps some tax benefits, which they've never put on the line. Perhaps the individuals that are affected who signed the leases, those seven folks, which some of them are good friends of mine. But the power was signed to go into Jersey, so
It goes into the PJM grid.
right,
So
which
we'll go into New Jersey.
So
Yeah.
is there going to be legislation introduced again? It was late last year and didn't get out of committee. Are they, Hershey going to
Hoping.
put that in again?
well, we're going to go perhaps different routes, but that
What routes are they that you're looking to go into?
well, there's probably multiple routes you can go. There's perhaps, moratoriums. These things were suggested by those that were in this committee meeting, the senators that were involved. They gave us, ideas to come back and perhaps put a moratorium for studies in this area, like they did with the natural gas up in Western Maryland. So things like that.
For the
We're
fracking you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Because there are health issues involved with these things. There's more and more studies that are being done across the country, and it depends on the areas in which they're in, how close a proximity they are to towns, communities. It all needs to be thought about. And again, this hit our doorstep last year, and it hit us like a whirlwind. I mean, so we were lucky to get it to the point where it is right now, where everything's just kind of slowed down a little bit. But the fact that a company like this goes around us and really didn't have a whole lot of conversation with local government in this process, because our zoning is very clear. 120 foot is all we allow. So we thought we had the best zoning you could ever have to say it's not allowed. Since then, when the Public Service Commission has the right to tell us, well, this is 70 megawatt, we have the say, you conform, whether or not they choose to do that would be a new precedent, because what they're using is a case from 1992 where a judge said the Public Service Commission had the authority over local governments, and this was dealing with something totally different. It was a power station, but it had nothing to do with 500-foot wind turbines. So, again, perhaps that would have to be challenged if anything like this did happen in Talbot County, Kent County, anywhere. Perhaps that would be the next challenge to go forward and let a judge decide again. Yeah, that is an overreach. You're talking a power plant versus,
Well, it's probably because it's a utility of
Exactly,
sorts, and that's
right.
probably where it comes into
Correct.
play. That's why I asked whether or not you guys have sought outside counsel to kind of guide you through this. So, and you said there's a number of other options you have to go with. So,
well, we're working again to perhaps let this kind of go away just through solar activity. Whether a company can conform to doing solar instead of wind, letting the people have a voice, and then we, as county government, also can dictate what the surroundings will be on a project like that, how that's going to work along with the Farm Bureau. But it brings conversation to all of us instead of somebody coming in trying to dictate to you and I what our authority is or isn't.
Well, I think we've seen that a lot, whether it's spending mandates, other land use things. It seems to me, the 5 years that I've been around, more and more decisions are being made in Annapolis, and they are doing our jobs. And I sometimes wonder, why are we here? Because just seems like every year there's more and more. So I think